I give them something to look forward to. They feel better if they look better. I've been told by residents when I come in here, it's better than medicine. and I try to make the salon a steel magnolias, you know. You can come in there, you can laugh, you can cry, you can tell jokes. They tell me stories. They tell me things they probably don't tell other people, because it's kind of like that. You're sitting in a chair with someone behind you and you're not face to face. They can see you in the mirror. It's a reflection. So they pour their heart out to me, and I just listen, and I have music in there. You might walk by and everybody's belting out Amazing Grace or How Great Thou Art, or I want them to enjoy every single minute that they're with me. I promise to always have candy in the candy dish and just the little things. And they really love it. And their families love it. Their families stop by and often sit, and they have places to be, but they enjoy being there and they end up staying.
Welcome to Aging in Style, the podcast dedicated to celebrating aging and what it takes to do it well. I'm Lori Williams. I'm a certified senior advisor and senior housing expert. In each episode, you'll learn stories of older adults who are thriving in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and in some cases in their hundreds. Whether you're an older adult or the child of an older adult, this podcast is filled with insightful resources, organizations that are doing incredible work, and stories that will inspire you to volunteer, learn, and who knows, maybe even skydive in your golden years. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Aging in Style with Lori Williams. Today's topic is about beauty salons in senior living communities. And it's a question I get a lot. You know, people they want to make sure that mom is able to go get her hair done and don't know if they're going to have to provide transportation to take her somewhere. And so all communities, senior communities, you know, the independent living, assisted and memory cares, they offer salons on site with really special people who are there to do their hair and nails and just make them all look beautiful. So I wanted to introduce you to someone today who that is what she does, and she does a fabulous job of it. So our guest today is Margo Brooks, and she has run the hair salon at Rosewood Assisted Living and Memory Care, which is in Flower Mound, Texas. She has run that for almost 9 years. Margo has been doing hair for 35 years, and she went to beauty school at the age of 16 and attended a vocational school to take cosmetology in her junior and senior years of high school. So she knew what she wanted to do in life. By her senior year, she was licensed and had a job doing hair even before she graduated from high school. And she married her high school sweetheart at 18 and spent first 15 years of her marriage in the Marine Corps, college, waiting tables, doing hair, teaching cosmetology. Very busy lady. She has 3 kids, including twins. And I just think she's going to have a lot of really fun and exciting information to share with us. So welcome, Margo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lori.
I'm so glad you joined me here today, because I love your passion for seniors and for what you do. And I know that's going to come across in the podcast.
Yes, I love seniors.
Yes, you do. So, okay. So what drew you into working with seniors?
Well, I've always loved seniors. My grandmother was my hero, and I loved being around her when I was a child and into my teen years, and loved hanging out with her and her friends and seeing the friendships that they had. And in a crowded room in a party, I was always drawn to older people. I love their stories. They're great listeners. They're genuinely interested in you. Mm-hmm. And so what drew me to doing hair, I believe, is, well, in beauty school, we focused on doing roller sets and perms. So I was good at it. And then for the first 10, 15 years doing hair, I worked in big salons, doing the latest and greatest. But I always had my mom, my grandmother's hair to do. And I had my children, and I was working with my daughter's Girl Scout troop and worked at Rambling Oaks doing crafts, whatever we could bring Girl Scouts in to do. And when all 3 of my kids were in elementary school, I decided I'm going to go back to work, but I didn't really think I wanted to do hair because I didn't want to work the long night hours and weekends when the clientele that I was used to doing would need me. And so I saw Rosewood being built. The trailer was out front. I went inside and asked them if they had any positions to fill where maybe I could help with activities. And they began interviewing me, and they thought, well, you could be a care partner and we could move you into that. We already have an activity director, so maybe we could move you into that. I didn't want to do the care partner position, so I just told them, you can call me when you need that activity assistant, because that's really what I want to do. Well, they continued on with the interview, and they found out that I was a licensed hairdresser. And the next thing I know, we were walking in the building. Before it was painted, it was still concrete floors and drywall. And they said, here's the salon. We want this to be your thing. And next thing I know, I was signing a contract. That was in August of 2012. And by October, we had the big grand opening. It has been the greatest 9 years of my life in my career, because being with these people, I absolutely adore them. And I bring so much to their day. I give them something to look forward to. They feel better if they look better. I've been told by residents, when I come in here, it's better than medicine. and I try to make the salon a steel magnolias. You can come in there, you can laugh, you can cry, you can tell jokes. They tell me stories. They tell me things they probably don't tell other people, because it's kind of like that. You're sitting in a chair with someone behind you and you're not face to face. They can see you in the mirror. It's a reflection. So they pour their heart out to me, and I just listen, and it's a great place to be, to behind that chair and being there for those people, because, sometimes they need prayer. Sometimes they need just to have their hand held, and just getting that one-on-one time. And sometimes it's the only one time they get. Mm-hmm. It's very important. I am so very busy in there. When Rosewood's full, I am busy Monday through Friday. I do on average of 30 to 40 ladies regularly, weekly. They come in. Some of them come twice a week, and I do the men every 3 or 4 weeks. So it's hopping. It's fun. And I have music in there. You might walk by and everybody's belting out Amazing Grace or How Great Thou Art, or I want them to enjoy every single minute that they're with me. I promise to always have candy in the candy dish, and just the little things. And they really love it. And their families love it. Their families stop by and often sit, and they have places to be, but they enjoy being there, and they end up staying, for a bit.
And I think what you said, it's like a steel magnolias. I think that you hit the nail on the head there, because when I have visited, I have been in your salon and seen you working on ladies' hairs, and it just has such a great vibe in there. It's fun, and your passion and your love for your seniors. And I've told you this before, it shines through. You can see it, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I love what you're doing. So kind of talking about the salon, what's like a typical day? And I'm sure they're always a little bit different, but what's a typical day like for you?
A typical day, well, they always beat me there. Always. They are waiting, they have breakfast, and they get there. My first appointment's at 9, my 9, 10, and sometimes 10:30 are sitting on the bench outside the salon waiting.
It's a big day.
They can't wait. And I get there and open the door and get the music playing. And I'm always the more the merrier, right? And when people are walking by, they come in. And so I get to doing hair. And sometimes I have to step out if I've got to go help somebody. It's not unusual for me to have to go get someone out of their room. And sometimes I have to help them put their socks and shoes on. And I'll do anything for them. It's family. I treat them all like they are my family, and I would do anything for them. It doesn't matter what they need, And so I catch a lot of different things when I go to their rooms. Sometimes I have to stay in there a bit to help them, to get them ready for the transition to come into the beauty shop. But there's curveballs all day long, where someone might need to go to the restroom, but everybody hangs out. Everybody's just patient. Yeah, we do a lot of singing. I do makeup, and most of them a lot. Of course, this was before COVID. I'm not doing makeup now, but I always put that final touch on them, especially if they're going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, as we age, our eyebrows fade and lessen, and just putting a little bit of eyebrows and some lipstick and some foundation to smooth out their complexion, it's a game changer. It takes, and they look in the mirror and they light up. And that right there, I mean, that tells me, yeah, I'm doing good here.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're happy, and that's my goal, right?
They feel beautiful. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so wonderful.
And feeling beautiful is a game changer.
It is. And no matter what your age. And I think that's really, it's so important for people to realize that even if you are 98 years old, you want to feel beautiful. And I know with seniors, like you said, their eyebrows fade and that sort of thing. But I mean, also with vision, it's hard. Their vision fails and it's hard to put makeup on. And sometimes, I don't know, do you do any like waxing or plucking? Because I know a lot of times senior ladies. I do. Okay. Because it's just part of it, guys. So we start getting chin hairs and stuff and
part of it. And it's real.
It is. And I tell my daughter that, when I'm that age, she needs to make sure my chin hairs are plucked. So it's a real thing. It
is. I do their eyebrows. I do their chin. I can wax their lip. I like to do some tests on their skin to make sure, and check with their family to make sure that they aren't going to have any allergic reaction or anything. But plucking, anything I can do to improve their looks, to make them feel better, that is my mission in my day. I do the men too, from the ear hair to the nose hair to the eyebrows, going all the way across. And I'm not allowed to shave, of course, with state board, but I do everything I can from the neck up to help them. And I've been known to help them with wardrobes too. I've grandmothers that are going to their daughter's weddings. I'll come in on a Saturday and I will get their hair, their makeup. I'll dress them, make sure they're shoot. And then the family just has to come pick them up. If I know about events, I go out of my way because everyone there, I take pride in how they look. They represent me. And if they're not looking good, then I'm not doing my job.
That's right. I love that. Now, you have assisted living and memory care. I'm sure there are some differences, but when you're doing hair for someone with memory care, is it a little more difficult? How does that work? Is there any differences?
Definitely. It can be. With memory care, sometimes you have behaviors, but I just don't bring them in and hurry them into the chair and try to, lay back. That doesn't work. I sit with them. I pull my chair up beside them and I get face to face and I hold their hand and I explain to them what I'm going to do. And most of the time, if they know and you give it to them slow so they can comprehend what's about to happen, they are much better. You can't just wing them into it. They trust me. So when you get that level of trust, I don't have any issues with them. They love it just as much as anybody else, but sometimes you just have to take a little bit slower of approach.
That's wonderful. When we were talking earlier, you had mentioned something which I thought was so interesting, and I love that you do this, but when your grandmother passed away, you went and took care of her makeup to make sure she looked like her and looked beautiful. And that's a service that you have provided through the years for other seniors and continue to do. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I do. Yes, when my grandmother passed away and I was just fresh out of beauty school, we were at the funeral home and the topic of her hair came up and they said, you have a picture, we'll give it to the girl who does hair. And I'm like, no, I'll do that. I'll be doing it. And my family's like thinking I'm a little girl. I can't go in there and do that, And my aunt, one of my biggest fans, she's like, if she wants to do it, she can do it. And I'll go with her. And she did. And it was hard, but I did it. And she looked like my grandma. And if someone else would have done it, she wouldn't have looked the way that I mean, I know what she looked like. I know the way she wore her lipstick and the way she wore hair. So from that point on, anyone that I knew that had a death and they needed the services, I always let them know, you don't have to use me. I just want to put it out there. Let me know if you need me. And I got called many times for it. And then, of course, the last 10 years that I've been doing hair at Rosewood, I am called frequently. I always let families know that I'm available depending on their situation, and I do it a lot. It's an honor. It's one of the best gifts that I can give to families. They're so thankful for it because I was the last one that did their hair when they were alive. So I can give them that final look and they look like they're supposed to look. And, it takes ages off of them too. They just look absolutely beautiful. I've been very proud of the work that I've done at the funeral homes for families.
That's such a beautiful thing that you do. And like you said, it's a gift for the family because they want to, their last time that they see the physical body of their loved one, they want them to look like how they remembered. They don't want them not, with too much makeup or just their hair styled incorrectly. So you know what their hair looked like and because you were doing it.
Or the wrong color lipstick. And, that's a big thing. They've been wearing the same lipstick for 50 years and someone might not know. That's a big deal for their families. Yeah. The families, like, she didn't wear that color lipstick. Yeah,
it's wonderful that you do that. This one's sort of a loaded question because I know that you have so many seniors who inspire you, but I always like to ask if there's a senior who's inspired you or many seniors, and kind of tell us about that.
Oh gosh, I have so many that inspire me. I mean, there's couples that are up there that have come and gone, and they inspire me by showing their love for each other, their strong marriages. One couple that I just absolutely adore, he will be 101 years old. She passed away right after COVID. He has broken bones and come back from so much. He's a very strong individual. He exercises every day. He reads Reader's Digest. He does crosswords. He stays sharp. But watching him take care of his wife, that inspires me beyond, because we're all going to age. And when I watched them, I always thought, gosh, I hope my marriage is like this in the end. Because he took care of her, he loved her, he sang to her, and she was non-communicative, and she knew him, and she would hold his hand. And I just, watching them and watching the love that people had for each other, and even in people that have lost spouses, they inspire me. How they go on with life. They talk about the wonderful years they had. And, I can think of one person in particular. She's like, she'll show me pictures of him all the time, and he's been gone for 10 years. And she's like, he was the love of my life. And, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're breaking my heart. And she looks at the positive side of it, like, but I had all those years. So, God gave me him, and I just have to, look, now I have my friends. I still have my family. They continue, even after a huge, enormous loss, they continue to find a way to live, in their later years when times can be boring or depressing. And it's all about their attitude. Those people, they inspire me so much. I had a lady that she used to come in and she always sang the same song. She had dementia. She was in the memory care part of the building. Fran is the one who always told me, you, my dear, are better than medicine. When I come in here, you make me feel better, because when I look better, I feel better. And I never forgot that. And she always sang this song called the Billboard Song from Doc and Merle Watson. Look it up. It's the funnest song. I would sing it for you, but I'm not a very good singer, so I would not do it justice.
I will definitely look it up.
People like her, she inspires me. Gosh, I can think of another lady that inspires me. Okay, so she had white hair, and she says to me, I want to go be a blonde today. And I said, really? Do you think your daughter will be okay with that? And she said, my daughter's not the boss of me. And I'm like, you're right. She's not, but I don't want to make her mad. And she goes, well, I don't care. Make her mad. I don't care. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, right? Should I do this? Should I not do it? So I went over and consulted with the nurse and had her come in, and she's like, if she wants blonde, do blonde. I'm like, okay. So we did it. Turned out great. She walked out of there blondes have more fun attitude. She sat on the couch, and then the nurse went up to her and she said, are you looking for a husband? And she's like, well, maybe. And then there's this guy sitting next to her, and it's John. And she says, John, are you looking for a wife? Because I'm looking for a husband. What kind of dates would you take me on? And he goes, cheap.
Cheap.
And she goes, and she started laughing. And I mean, this is the kind of things that unfold on days. Mm-hmm. And it just brings light to the day, and the whole place is laughing. Uh-huh. And she did the blonde thing for a couple months, and then she went back to the white. But she sure did have a good 2 or 3 months playing that up with everybody, and she was the talk of Rosewood.
Oh, I bet she was. That's awesome. What did her daughter think?
She was like, oh dear, what'd she do now? So it all turned out okay, but I always worry. I don't want to make family members upset,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But she inspired me. Let's see. Yeah, there's so many inspiring stories. I mean, in 9 years, the people that I have come in contact with, and the families, and oh gosh, the men that are military heroes. Mm-hmm. We have a couple that have been through 3 wars. They have Purple Hearts, and they always inspire me because they've been through so much, and yet they just are such polite, humble people. Mm-hmm. And they truly inspire me.
Yeah. Seniors have the best stories. They really do. And I mean, I feel, like you do, that we're so blessed working in this because we get to hear these amazing stories. And that's part of what I want to do with this podcast, is just share that with other people who don't realize what absolute gems getting to know your senior friends can be. They're just amazing.
They are. And they need friends more than anybody, because people, lives are busy. And I always encourage Girl Scouts and Boy Scout groups and National Honor Society, go in, find a place to get plugged in, whether you do a puzzle with somebody or sit and help them with a crossword or call bingo or just sit on the couch with them. Mm-hmm. I have a story of one of my boys and I were having a debate, and he felt he was right and I felt he was wrong. And we went in. I said, we're going to go to Rosewood. So we went in, and there was about 8 ladies sitting on the couch, and they just loved Stephen. And I said, Stephen, tell him the story about our debate. And they, of course, sided with me. And they're like, you need to tell your mama you're sorry. And he did. And it was the greatest thing. And he was like, they were right, Mom. When you take them to the next generation and it's someone besides parents, it means more to them. And they kind of think, oh, yeah, she was right. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I've gone up there and shared dinners and lunches and breakfast, taking them donuts in the morning. It's not just about doing hair. Mm-hmm. They truly are. If I'm having a bad day, that's where I go. Because when I leave, I feel better. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's so true. I mean, that's what I loved when I worked in the senior community. It was every day. It didn't feel like going to a job. And I'm sure you would agree with this. It was like, I'm going to see my friends, and you walk in and of course, pre-COVID times, you hug on everyone and just hear their stories. And it was just such a joy to be able to work in a senior community. And I think that's important for people to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing about what you do. I love it. And I'm sure everyone listening can hear the passion that you have for what you do and for the seniors. And they are so blessed to have you there at Rosewood.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And there was one thing that I wanted to read in some part of the interview, and I'll go ahead and we can end with me reading it.
Okay, great.
Because it says so much about why doing hair in a salon is so important. Mm-hmm. This is from John Steinbeck. The hairdresser is, that's what it's called, the hairdresser is. It is my considered opinion that the hairdresser is the most influential person in any community. When the public goes to a hairdresser, something happens to them. They feel safe. They relax. The hairdresser knows what their skin is like under the makeup. They know their age. They don't have to keep up any kind of pretense. People tell a hairdresser things they wouldn't dare confess to a priest, and they are open about matters they try to conceal from their doctor. When people place their secret lives in the hairdresser's hands, the hairdresser gains an authority few other people attain. I have heard hairdressers quoted with complete conviction on art, literature, politics, economics, childcare, and morals. I tell you, a clever, thoughtful, ambitious hairdresser wields a power beyond the comprehension of most people. So when I opened that salon, one of my dear friends had that printed and framed, and it's in my salon. I think it's very true. And
it is.
I want the salon to be a place to come enjoy yourself, have fun, look pretty, something to look forward to. And if you come to my beauty shop, I can promise you, you're going to leave feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a safe place for them to share with you things that maybe they can't share with anyone else also. So.
Yeah, and I also, before we end here, want to give you a huge plug, because during that snowstorm, Lori's Senior Services helped legends get cots and beds and blankets and pillows brought in when some of us had no cell service or transportation to help. You made that happen because some of the sister locations had no water, no electricity, and they had to transfer residents to other locations, and we needed these things. And within hours, you made that happen.
Oh, well, it was my pleasure to be able to do that.
I can't thank you enough. And This is what Lori does. Lori Senior Services. I mean, you are such an asset to our community.
Oh,
and I really thank you for everything you do.
Well, I appreciate that. It's just, for me, it's like, this is my community and I love our seniors, and just the thought of a senior not having a blanket or a place to sleep, it just, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So I'm glad I have such a great network and to be able to put it out on social media. And thankfully we had power, so I could do it, and had internet part of the time. So it's always my honor to be able to help out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a great story.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for being on the show. And as always, guys, if you are looking for resources for seniors or want to go back and listen to all episodes of the podcast, you can find it on my website, which is LoriWilliams-seniorservices.com. And as always, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.